Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Apogee Virtual. We're excited to have everybody here today. We have an exciting group for you, a lot of good information that's going to be coming your way. As you all know, we had to postpone our virtual from earlier this month in October because Florida has seemed to be a magnet for hurricanes this year. Down here in Mexico, we've had our share of some rain, but nothing serious except from one coming through. So anyway, here we are today for you to make sure that we can bring you some information that's going to make your business better. So today we're going to have Sarah from Promax, Francisco, and Scott Bailey come in, and myself, and we're going to give you some different ideas on how you can improve things that are going on in your world today. Our goal is to make sure that simply you are improving every day in your business so that it can make a better life for you. What do we want you to do? We want you to make more money, but we want you to spend more time with your family or doing the things that you want to do. So let's go ahead and get started with our first speaker of the day. So if we'll go ahead and get Sarah added to the stage. Hello, Sarah. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, everyone. Good morning.
Sarah is a beast. Let's put it that way. She's up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and she's just working from the moment she starts until she goes to bed at I don't know what time, late, I think. So today, Sarah, your presentation is going to be on communication. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Good, because I need to pay a lot of attention to that because communication is not always my forte. I think people are reading my mind when I'm talking to them, so I don't always do a good job. So without further ado, Sarah, let's go ahead and get you started. So you guys, Sarah Islas.
Thank you, Doug. It's already in here, the magic of technology. So, good morning, everyone. As Doug mentioned, I'm Sarah. I work here in Promax as the Procalls manager. And today we're going to talk about how communication can improve the enrollments and the retention in your schools. Through my career in different industries, I've seen how communication can transform businesses' outcomes, and this is not an exception for any of your programs. Either it is martial arts, after school, summer camp, presenting in a very positive way to the parents will always make you have these new enrollments that we are all looking for in this industry. So let's start on why communication matters. So, effective communication is not just about answering questions. It's about building trust and credibility, especially when we are talking to parents, because parents, what they are always looking for is to have a place in which their children can be safe and the environment is engaging to their children. So if when they call, they are evaluating whether your program aligns with their needs and values. So just imagine a parent calling to ask you about your martial arts program, let's say. And if you respond promptly and in a very one way, that would impact on how the parents' perception is towards your school. And this will create a very first positive impression, and you will likely have like an increase of a 30% in your enrollments just by having a fast and efficient and personalized communication. So being responsive, especially during these seasons that we all know that are super important, for example, at the beginning of the school year or during the summer camp registration, will get you more people into your programs. If you delay any of these responses of the parents asking about your programs, well, it's a missed opportunity of having this connection. So again, it is important to have a quick and personalized communication with the parents, so you can demonstrate that you are committed to what they are asking, and that your program is valuable, reliable, and it is engaging for their children. So, in today's world, communication, as you might know, it's just not limited by phone calls. That probably is to 1980s. Like on my days, back in my days, it was all phone calls, and it was sometimes super difficult to communicate with someone. But nowadays, many parents, especially the ones that are between 25 and 30 years old, many of them prefer to send text messages, emails, or even contact the school by social media. So if having this multi-channel approach is essential nowadays, and it will ensure that you meet parents where they are most comfortable in communicating. So when you limit your communication to only one channel, you are missing opportunities on connecting with potential leads who prefer other methods rather than just the classic one, which is like the phone call. So, for example, text messaging. Many parents prefer this type of communication because it is fast. And sometimes also it is faster for you to send just small details on scheduling or your classes. And by incorporating this strategy to your school, you can reach parents instantly and you can make them feel prioritized. So, for example, here in Procos, we use emails for sending more detailed information. We can have a conversation over the phone with a parent, but sometimes giving all this information about all the times or the pricing of the after school or the summer camp can be just too much. So it is better just to send an email to the parents so they can check all the information, of course, with your registration link. And that will also help on getting more leads into your school, and it would be better to handle certain requests from the parents. And sometimes, of course, it's better to have a phone call so you can add a personal touch to the conversation when it is to handle, when we talk about more handling like complex inquiries or concerns of the parents. So, regardless of the method of communication that you want to choose, the key on everything is consistency. So, it doesn't matter how you communicate with the parents. You always want to try to remain clear, professional, and align all your communication with your brand values. So, by having this consistency, you will build trust and will reinforce your program's reliability. And also, by using a CRM or other communication system, will help you to streamline your communication efforts. So, one of the the things that we do here in Procals is try to always follow these best practices of for communication with the parents. And sometimes, it's always difficult to talk to someone, but by having this approach, it helps for us to have better results when trying to get a lead to go to school. So let's start first with the active listening. So parents often reach out with concerns or inquiries, and it's vital to make them feel that they are heard. So sometimes the connections are bad over the phone. So if we don't understand anything, or if you are not sure what the parent is asking, it's better just to repeat the question to make sure that you are actually understanding what the parent is asking for. So when you listen actively, you are acknowledging their needs and you are demonstrating empathy, which builds trust. Then we have the timeliness, that it is a crucial element. If there are many studies that have shown that responding within the first 5 to 10 minutes of a lead's inquiry, it increases the chances of engagement, and that will give you a higher percentage for you to book either a trial, a tour, or for have the parent to sign up for your after school or your summer camp program. And the one that I think is one of the most important is personalization. So by talking to the parent by their first name or mentioning their child's name will build rapport and of course also trust, and will give a more personalized experience, and it will show that your school can provide tailored solutions for your programs. So just by saying, for example, like, hey Amanda, I remember that we discussed about Jamie's class last week, it will make feel the parent to feel valued and appreciated. And let's go to the last one, which is setting clear expectations. So it is important to set these expectations. So, for example, if you are telling a parent that you are following up at 2 p.m., just make sure that you are calling the parent at 2 p.m. and stick to those timelines. This will help you build credibility, but it will also reduce the anxiety that the parents might have about what is next. So clear communication is a way to set your program apart and ensure a lasting positive impression of your school. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. And at the end of the presentation, we'll be more than happy to address those questions. Let's continue with something that is pretty popular also nowadays, which is emotional intelligence. And I think that uh, this is also super important when you are communicating with parents. Not only with parents, but also with our peers. So just having emotional intelligence is just being aware of both our emotions and others' emotions. So allowing us to manage interactions like in a very simple way. So one of the key skills in emotional intelligence is empathy. And this means like understanding parents' concerns and addressing them in a way that shows genuine care. And again, this will help to build trust and rapport, and it will make parents feel value. Also, one of the other things that it is important to mention in the emotional intelligence is self regulation, especially when conversations become difficult. So, staying composed allow us to respond calmly and in a very professional way. And the last but not least, it is the social awareness. So, such as recognizing nonverbal cues will help us to adjust our communication to better suit each one of the situations. So, some tips. So, just be proactive when you are engaging with one of the parents. If you notice that a parent hasn't followed up, you can reach out to them to show that you actually care about them, and try to use always positive language to deliver any kind of difficult situation. Back in my 20s, I was told by a sales manager that none of my conversations shouldn't start with a no, that I can use other words precisely to present this this difficult information. So that was actually a good tip, because when you start with a negative word, most of the times what would you receive is a defensive response. So you can try it out. It's very helpful. So um, let's continue. So communication barriers are inevitable, but overcoming them, it's always crucial for maintaining trust and effectiveness in our businesses. And one common barrier is time constraints, especially during like the peak seasons, like the beginning of the school year or the summer camp. And to address this, we can implement automated responses to acknowledge parents that their inquiry is being processed. There are many things here at Promax that we do in regards to this. Um, we have a very complex set of automations that keep the communication with the parents like consistently. So another one is the inconsistency in messaging across channels, and standardizing most of your communication will show you, will represent you as if in a very professional way, and every time the parent will receive the same professional response. Also, miscommunication can be another barrier when the expectations aren't fully understood. And finally, technology can also be a challenge when managing, for example, multiple channels in different platforms can create a barrier. But if you use just one CRM, that will help you to streamline your communication and will make your communication more effective, ensuring that nothing slips through the cracks. So let's go to something that is really interesting. And we have been doing this type of a study for about 6 months now. And it is interesting to see that when we talk to some business owners, everybody will tell us that they answer every single phone call. But the truth is that sadly, only 22% of the phone calls are answered. So that means that you are missing a 77% of opportunities. And that is huge, super huge, because those are misleads. And then if we go into how to build rapport with the parents that are calling, many of them, they not even present themselves or the company that they are representing, the school that they are representing. And also, nobody asks for the parent's name. As I was talking before, personalizing our communication is super important to build trust with the parents. But if we don't have the parent's name, how can we build this trust and feel the parent feel like they are important to you? Also, a huge majority didn't ask for the child's name or child's age. How are we supposed to provide the correct information to the parent if we don't have at least the age of the child? Also, if your team members are not asking to book a trial or a tour, you are missing 50% of the chances to have a new member at your school. And what it is most important on this case of a study, and what we recommend you guys to do, is just to have a script for your team members. So when somebody calls, they can have the information in front of you and you do not provide these answers that I'm not familiar with the information. I don't know the pricing. Maybe I can call you later. You can look at the information at our website. So those are not professional answers, and you don't want that the parent feel that they are not important. Our goal will always be, when communicating with parents, is to make them feel that they are valued and important, and that the child will be in good care at your school. So, but we also have schools that are like the best. They always answer their phone calls. They provide the information that they are supposed to provide. They followed a script. And a big shout out to these 5 schools like Karate Charlotte, KCN IBBA, Chang's Martial Arts, Family Martial Arts Academy, and Snap Kick Martial Arts. So that's a big yay to them. So one of the things that I've learned years ago in the manufacturing, but you can also bring this into any industry actually, it is the Deming Circle. Yeah, it is an excellent framework for continuously improve your communication processes, but not only communication, you can use the Deming Circle for whatever process that you want to improve. So the first thing that we need to do is what it is called in the Deming Circle, it is plan, and it is setting clear communication goals, like, for example, response times or the tone used in our conversations. The next one is we need to do. So, by putting these strategies into action across all of our channels, we are doing something. So, we are not just planning, we are continuing to the next step, and we are actually doing something. So now that we are doing something, it is also important to do the check. So this is that you have to monitor your KPIs and gather feedback from the parents or of any uh, KPI that you are monitoring. And you then have to adjust according to that feedback. So that's the last one, which is act. So making the necessary adjustments to improve future interactions. So this cycle ensures ongoing improvement and adaptability in your communication strategies. So this is an ongoing thing. If you need to change something at the end of the cycle, then you start again with a plan. What are my changes? How I'm going to do these changes? And then you again do those changes, check again those changes, and if any necessary adjustment is needed, then you do the act, and again, we start all over again. So some additional tips and best practices. Um, Use technology. Technology, it's out there. Uh, we will always recommend to use a CRM that has all-in-one for efficiency and for tracking your numbers and for streamlining your communication. Also, creating SOPs will ensure consistent and professional interactions across all your communication channels. And do continuous training. Continuous training with your staff is vital for improving communication. And finally, you have to review your KPIs. Just because you're doing good doesn't mean that you can improve. So it's always about continuous improvement. So communication is about more than just responding. It's about building lasting relationships and ensuring parents feel confident about the programs that you are offering. So, by implementing these strategies, whether it is just a personalized message, tracking your KPIs, or setting new SOPs, you can significantly boost enrollment and retention rates. And thank you, everyone, for your time. If you have questions, drop them in the chat, and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. You're muted.
Now I'm back. All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's like technology is great when you know how to work it, isn't it? Just another example of why you guys are running Promax and I'm not. Just wanted to hop and say a couple things that I took as far as notes went. Number one was the positive communication. So starting with negativity. And I know, and I still have a habit of doing that, but using the words, I think Rudy Mick said, he told me once upon a time, the answer is always yes. It doesn't matter what the question is, the answer is always yes. So if you run a martial arts school and somebody calls and they ask if you can order pizza for them and have it delivered, the answer is yes. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call Pizza Hut for you. So, well, let's get to some questions done here. Let me see. One. Mr. Lonson says, "Thank you, Sarah." So hopefully, Lonray, you got some good stuff out of that. I know I did. The question would be, how would you handle a parent that is being rude on the phone? That's a great question.
That's a great question, actually. First of all, breathe, because sometimes we take things super personal, and none of this is personal. Sometimes there are many external things that affects our mood. Either it is the parent or ourselves. So the first thing is just breathe, relax. It's not that the parent is shouting at you personally. So it's just, first of all, let them talk. Let them talk. They will talk, and listen to what that person is saying, and just take, uh, just address the main concerns. Sometimes we just give additional information that is not necessary, and sometimes that creates an additional communication barrier. So just answer what it is asked. And most of the times when parents are being rude, it's because something external happened, not necessarily to their child, but it's just important just to active listen, breathe, and respond in a very calm way. And at the end, you will have a happy parent.
That's a fantastic answer. And another person somewhere down the line told me once that I have one mouth and two ears, and I should learn to use them in the same process. So I should use my ears twice as much as I use my mouth. I, I, I should have paid a lot more attention to that.
Sometimes people just like to talk and one have to listen. We all love talking in this place, in this company, but sometimes we just have to listen, and that will alleviate the situation, and that's it.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions for Sarah out there for those of you that are watching? Let's see. Lanre's going, addressing the concerns is vital. He's absolutely right. You're going to have to address the
Yes.
concerns of your clients. All right. Doesn't look like anything else is coming in. So thank you so much, Sarah. A lot of valuable information. Like I said, the one of another key point you brought up was 22% of the people answering their phones, and that's a huge concern as a business owner, because now it's just so easy to move to the very next person that's on the list of Google that you're looking for. So we want to make sure that if you're out there watching this, then please make sure that you're making sure, if it's not you, it's your team that's doing a much better job of answering phone. And we're going to continue to do these calls. So over 300 schools so far, and we're going to continue to call people. And for those 5 that you were mentioning that did the great job, and kudos to you, because you're setting the standard for everybody else. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Sarah. We appreciate it. So we'll see you soon. And our next speaker is going to be Mr. Scott Bailey. So let's see. We'll go ahead and get Mr. Bailey added on here. Good morning, sir. I guess
Hey,
that's still morning for you, isn't it?
it is. It's 11:30, almost lunchtime.
Almost lunchtime. Well, you today, I guess for those of you that don't know Scott, he runs P3 Martial Arts in Knoxville, Tennessee, and they are probably the single largest one school system in the entire country. So I know that he and I went to an event hosted by Spark, which I'm sure most of you use. And at Spark, it was brought to his attention. I mean, all of our attention, and he didn't know at the
I had no
time
idea.
that his school was the #1 ranked school for the year out of all of Spark's clients, and they have thousands of clients.
5,000 locations is what they said.
So one of the things, and he gave a great presentation while he was there. So if whatever it is that he's saying, we all need to make sure we're paying attention. If you want your school to break $1 million, you can pay a little bit of attention. If you want your school to break 1.5 million, then you need to pay more attention. And if you want to do what he's doing, which is going to be about 2 million in a single location this year, then make sure you're paying a whole lot of attention. So thank you very much, Mr. Bailey. So let's go ahead and get you started so we can start taking some good notes, and I can learn something to pass along to my team.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate everybody being here. Like Master Rankin said, I've been able to get on a few different podcasts now, and a few different live events I've been able to go to now, and just tell everybody our journey. Tell everybody what we've been doing here in Knoxville for the past almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years next July. So it's been an incredible journey. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to present, I was thinking about how we started and the core values that our company has, and how that all kind of integrates with marketing and what we do here in Knoxville. So, I want to present on, why family-centric programs matter, because I believe family-centric programs are the easiest way to naturally grow your program. So let me see if I can move the slide. So again, I'm Scott Bailey. I am the owner of P3 Sportsplex in Knoxville, Tennessee. 33 years old. I'm a father of 4. And again, it's just been an incredible journey. When I first started this journey, I was a broke college kid. I was 23 years old, just graduated college. I started another martial arts school here in town when I was 19. And then when I graduated college, I decided I wanted to do it on my own. A little tumultuous journey, but it's been a great journey nonetheless. So now we're multimillionaire in just 9 years, which is insane to think about, and a very humbling experience for sure. So this little deli is where I used to go, me and my mom and my brother. My dad was an over-road truck driver, so he was not home very much. And so this little deli was our eating out. We went there to get hot dogs once a week, because that's honestly all we could afford. So when I say I come up from a very humble upbringing, I truly mean it. And then on the right is my beautiful family. It's my wife, Kavina, and then our 4 kids. So like Mr. Rankin said, we are #1 in Spark for revenue and retention out of 5,000 locations across the world. I had no idea I was going to be kind of awarded this honor. I didn't think we were good enough to be at the top in general. I guess, again, it goes back to that martial art mindset. But, you know, so when I was thinking about this presentation, I thought about the 6 pillars of having a family-centric program. And so that's what I'm going to be presenting on today. And I want you to remember that when you're starting this program or when you're doing this, you are in the hobby of martial arts, but you're in the business of relationships. Right. So again, a lot of us started martial arts because we thought it was fun. We like to chop things, we like to break boards, sometimes concrete. Right. But we're really in the business of relationships. And going back to what Sarah talked about in her, presentation about phone calls and communication, that's where it starts. It starts from answering your phone. When I was at the Spark event, we audited every person in attendance. And again, the metrics don't lie, the KPIs don't lie. And the majority of people just aren't answering their phones, or they're not responding to text messages in a timely manner. And so for my team, I try to shoot for every phone call answered no matter what. If we don't answer, we call back within 5 minutes. And then every text message is answered under 5 minutes. Again, we're not 100%, but it's a priority on our bucket list. So these are the 6 pillars. And this is when you become the one in your community, right? Is when you address all these pillars. And so, a lot of us in our minds think we hit these pillars, but until you start seeing it on social media, until you start seeing your parents talk about it online, until you start seeing all of the chatter about your company, you are not the one, right? So you're missing something. We all strive for this, but if you want to be the one in your community, you need to hit all 6 of these. So my business supports modern family needs, right? Post-COVID, the family dynamic has changed a lot. You hear a lot of times, I'm so busy, and they're doing one activity, right? The kids are. We had a lot of families before COVID that was doing 3 and 4 activities, and they were never busy. They say, "Oh, we'll do the extra. We'll go to tournament. We'll do this," right? Now it's a lot of people are more personalized in their time. Does your class schedule meet that modern family's needs? If they only have class on Tuesday and Wednesday, you're probably missing some clients or potential clients. The second pillar is, my business is trusted for growth and development. So when you're talking about the children or the kids or the students inside your businesses, are they actually growing? Are they getting better? Or are they just going through the motions? Are they doing better in school? Again, is your strategies that you're teaching them here moving on into outside the world around them? Number 3, my business enhances life skills beyond the mat, right? So, for us, that's something we really focus on. I saw a thing yesterday about one of the industry leaders, and it kind of bothered me because I started martial arts when I was 10 years old, and I worked every day. I went to events, I learned from people, people above me, people below me. I learned from everybody I could. And I'm 33 now. And so in these past 20 years, this industry has given me everything I have. And so when I talk about enhancing life skills, I'm talking about, are we teaching young people how to answer the phones? Are we teaching them business skills? Are we teaching them how to communicate? All these things that are outside of what martial arts is, but that we all know that martial arts actually teaches, right? That leadership, that commitment, that journey. Number 4, my business is a convenient solution for stay-at-home and working parents, right? So again, are you slicing out a particular side of the demographic because you don't have homeschool classes? We don't have homeschool classes. We can't handle that right now. We're over capacity as it is, right? But I know a lot of people have that opportunity to do that, and that may be another demographic you want to pull into your company. Number 5, my business offers family-friendly year-round options, right? So you've got to be open. You've got to be open for business. So I know a lot of schools, they'll close for, 2.5 weeks at Christmas time. Well, those are some of the best times to have those one-on-one conversations with your martial arts students, right? The classes are smaller. It's more intimate. That's when you make an impact and pull those people closer to you, right? I tell everybody all the time, business is like a web, right? And so all you're doing is you're weaving your web in your community and you're pulling these people into you constantly, right? Now, as your business grows, you need awesome people around you, your staff, to continue pulling those people into your web, right? And the number 6, my business builds a supportive community for parents and kids. When you're known as the one, everyone around you becomes a part of your brand and your community, right? And so the next people I'm going to show you here after this, is some of my students that have been with us a very long time, and they build that community with us, right? And it's just an amazing thing to watch. So again, if you want to be known as being successful, and follow these 6 pillars. If you will attack them every day, you will be successful no matter what. For me, I do it with a martial art program, an after school program, and we also have a cheer and tumbling program, right? The reason we started a cheer and tumbling program is I was watching all these little girls leave my after school program, and they were in their leotards and their gymnastics gear. And we had a spring floor. Our pro training team for martial arts with the weapons and stuff. They were training on the spring floor, and I was missing an entire demographic. So going back to, you know, my business is a convenient solution. We offer convenient class times. It's family friendly and it supports our kids, right? So, all these little girls would leave and go to other places when they were literally here for my after school program. And so that's why we started a cheer and tumbling program, to give them an area that they love and they want to pursue. So an after school program and a summer camp program, it provides opportunities for families to enroll in martial arts or whatever you do that never would have otherwise been able to attend, right? It's a requirement for their families. So an after school and summer camp program is an absolute requirement for, probably 60 to 70% of families. Master Ron Sell, he said, we had the top retention rate out of all of the 5,000 schools. And I truly believe it's because of our after school program. It increases our retention rate. Typically, our retention rate right now is people stay with us for about 20 to 21 months. And again, if you don't have Spark, or if you do have Spark, you can look at your ultimate stats and it will tell you exactly what that is. It also increases our lifetime value. So we're around, I think, $4,600 for our lifetime value of members. And then it also increases your monthly recurring revenue. So when you have an after school program where they're paying weekly, and then your evening martial arts or evening cheer, evening tumbling, all those classes, it eases your cash flow constraints, right? Because your after school program is paying weekly. And so that money's coming in all the time. So for me, I use my after school program to pay all of the bills and plus some, right? So it pays for everything. And then all of my evening programs and martial arts, my tumbling, my cheer are pure profit, right? So it eases your cash flow constraints. And then also the seasonality of other sports. We've all heard it. Oh, my kid's playing soccer. And when I was only running a martial arts school, it was really hard. It was really hard on me to let that kid go, even though I know they love soccer, but to let that kid go, because I knew in the back of my head too that, oh man, now I've got to replace that kid because I need that revenue to pay my rent this month. Because my rent was $4,200 when I first started. I didn't have $4,200, right? I worked 2 other jobs in order to create the cash flow I needed to get my business off the ground. And so, I love the student and I love everybody, but then on the backside of that, there was that constraint in my head all the time. I was like, how can I do this? And so when you have an after school and summer camp program, it really eases all that pressure on you to constantly have to perform. Also with after school and summer camp programs, it provides the necessary cash flow to employ more staff. Truly provide a great life for your family and to max out your retirement and savings accounts, right? So again, it releases that pressure from when you leave your work, you leave your teaching, you go home to your wife or your husband, and you just dump all that stuff on them, right? So again, it makes a better life for you. And last but not least, I know this is a common theme in the martial art world about after school programs, but for us, it develops an amazing martial artist. When you have a student that's here 5 days a week, sometimes 6, right? And they're training for an hour, 2, 3 hours every night, it's creating amazing martial artists. I'm going to introduce you to Logan Crump here in just a minute, but and it also increases your instructor replacement pipeline, right? So we all know that most 99% of our students are going to quit at some point. And it's very rare to have one student stick with you for 10, 11, 12, 15, 20 years and replace you, right? So again, this continues to create an instructor replacement pipeline all the time. So this is the Crump family, an amazing family. They've been with me for probably almost 6 years now, right? Logan started when he was almost in first grade. He was in kindergarten, but going into first grade. And he's the little boy on the left. And that's his mom, Beth, and the little brother, Peter, and the dad, Joe. Again, amazing family. But when you're talking about this family, this is the exact reason why I started the after school program, because Beth is a veterinarian, and she could not get off work by 6 o'clock. And so she was looking for an after school program for Logan so she could come pick him up. Joe is a doctor as well, so crazy hours. And so what we did was we had an after school program that closed at 6, but we had martial art classes that run till 7. And so she was allowed to enroll Logan, dual enroll him into martial arts and pick him up at 7, whereas no other after school program had that possibility. And so this one client that started with me about 5 years ago has created for my company $101,727. Amazing, right? Absolutely phenomenal. Logan is a secondary black belt. He's on our junior instructor team. He does our pro training, so he does all the flips and the weapons. He's an after school and summer camp student, and he's in 5th grade now. So we'll be losing him at the end of this year, which is kind of heartbreaking. Again, you spend a lot of time with these kids every day of your life with them, He'll be going into middle school. But again, he's in that pipeline to be my instructor. He's in that pipeline to be my COO of the company in the future. Beth just received her first degree black belt just a few weeks ago. And so she's been doing an amazing job. And then Peter's the little brother. Peter's a purple belt. He does tumbling as a crossover student because he's not eligible for pro training yet. So he does tumbling just to work on his back handsprings and tucks. And he's now also an after school and summer camp student. So again, this is one family that is, and we all have these families, right? They're the one family that you just loved and adore. But tying it into being a family-centric environment, they are our biggest advocates, right? And Mr. Rankin, I think, is going to talk about the referral networks, but these guys are our biggest advocates, right? And so when we're talking about advertising and marketing, this is who you want marketing you, right? You don't want a Facebook ad. You don't want a Google ad. You want somebody like this in your community, in their school, saying, you got to go here. You got to experience this. You got to see it. You got to see it in action, right? And again, we have tons of these stories, but this family in particular had been with the longest. So for us, we have about 330 martial artists. We have about 70 tumblers, 40 cheerleaders, and then 186 after schoolers. And so out of the 186 after schoolers, 62% of our after school program is dual enrolled into our evening programs. And so this does two things. Number one, it allows me to have slightly bigger teams, because as we leave as these kids go to classes, my evening classes, it shrinks my number, right? So it increases my profit margin for my after school program as well, right? It also, these guys pay extra every week to be able to be dual enrolled into our after school program. So again, it's increasing my monthly revenue. Now, talking about these programs and marketing, the best way to market, in my opinion, is doing birthday parties. So birthday parties, we do 2 to 3 weekends. You're going to get to meet Josh Woods. Josh Woods is the CEO of my company here in a few minutes. But have so far, I've done about $40,000 this year just in birthday party packages, right? And what I love about this is that people are able to experience, right? This is actually how the Crump started. They come to a birthday party for a little boy when we were starting our after school program. But people are able to experience your program, and not only experience it, but the parents are there to watch it, right? So what I see a lot of times is, especially nowadays, parents are so busy, they're in their phone, that no one's really paying attention to what's going on, though. But at a birthday party, they're there with their parents and they're watching your team interact with these kids, and all the parents are already starting to talk, right? Because they're already friends, right? And then again, it expands and expands. So this is our number one source of any marketing. We don't do paid marketing. And what I love about this is parents are actually paying us to do marketing for our company. So far this year, our birthday party system has created 251 unique leads. So those are people that have come in to experience birthday parties. October and November are completely booked, 3 parties every weekend except for Thanksgiving. And then on average, the parents, instead of you paying Google and Facebook, right, our parents and parents of our community have paid us $157.35 per unique lead, right? So our company's not expending that. Parents are paying us to create these leads. It's beautiful. And then also this is a great retention tool, right? My students are bringing people in from the community to experience us. Their friends join our programs or after school program or martial art program, whatever. Now they have friends in that program. So again, they continue staying with us longer and longer as our company continues to grow. We do 3 different kinds of birthday parties. Number 1, we do a ninja samurai party. So again, a lot of that is some parkour, some martial arts. We don't do it like a typical class, right? It's a 15-minute, teach a front kick, teach a punch, wrist grab release, stranger don't touch me there, right? We do a lot of games, we do a lot of activities. We want it to be a birthday party experience, not a martial art class, right? We also do a Nerf party. Again, that experience starts off the similar. You have your parkour, you have some games, and then you go into Nerf battles, right? And then the last one is our Jedi party. So this one combines a little bit of the Nerf, a little bit of the ninja together, right? So you have your little martial art class, you have some games, you do Jedi saber training. They get to cut the cake with a sword. Again, it's a total blast. So this is my free birthday party blueprint. Actually, Mr. Josh Woods made this blueprint for you guys. If you take your phones out and you can scan that QR code, you can opt in and it will text you a link that you can literally watch step by step of what we do in a birthday party, right? Again, this system alone so far this year has created about $40,000 in revenue for our company on top of creating the unique leads, which is, again, I think beautiful. And if you miss this, then just get with the team. We'll send it to you. Not a big deal. Again, I'm a big component of community events. We don't do paid marketing. So marketing your after school and summer camp program, especially in today's world where you can create real relationships with people, is the key to success. Especially if you're a small school that doesn't have the revenue to do traditional or online marketing, this is where you need to focus on. Are you doing the PTO and PTA events? Are you connecting with these moms that are inside the schools where these kids are at, right? Are you in community groups? We do a mom's group. They come in, we teach a little 15, 20-minute martial art class. The kids play at our facility. They're here for maybe 45 minutes to an hour. The moms have a little meeting / just hang out with mom time. And again, it's completely free. We do it out of our free will, but it creates an amazing experience for that group. Are you doing women's self-defense classes? Parents Not Out events. Parents Not Outs are amazing. If you're not doing those and you need students inside your building, you need to have one a month, every single month. If you're doing an after-school program, you can do these for the schools and donate the money back to the schools. Any additional profit, donate it back to the schools, to the PTA. Again, a great resource to get your name out there in your community. Master Rankin and Dee from Rev It Up just did our trunk or treat system. And I know Master Rankin got over 900 people, new leads in his parking lot just last week. Amazing. I think D was around 700 or 800, if I'm not mistaken. Again, amazing success for our communities. Pictures with Santa and the Grinch. I had one of my martial art instructors. He's a hoot. He's a Marine now. But last year he was the Grinch, and the parents absolutely loved it more than Santa, right? Because he'd pick up the kids and put them on his shoulder, and they would take a picture, and we just emailed it out to everybody. But again, that event, it's still on people's in people's Christmas picture frames at Christmas time, right? Do you have a referral network? Does your parents know to refer people? A lot of times all it takes is to ask. I know a lot of martial arts school owners are afraid to ask because they're afraid to get involved or hurt people's feelings or something. I don't know. Go for the no, right? Ask. Say, hey, do you care to refer somebody? We have a buddy day coming up. Can you bring a friend? Again, and then birthday parties. So for us, like I said, this is our advertising transaction report. You should be able to click it. We've spent $105,764 in advertising since I opened the company. That's not truly accurate because I classify when we do our bus wraps for after school program, those are $5,000 to $6,000 a piece. We have 11 buses, anytime, GoDaddy or website hosting, I consider that advertising, or our Google domain, I consider that advertising. So again, this is our total cost of advertising to create a little over $7 million in revenue. So again, this tells you the power of community events. My wife will tell you it's because I'm cheap, which is true. I still coupon at Kroger every Friday, so I get 4 times the fuel points. But again, this tells you the power of community. So if you're a small school, this could be you, right? Easily could be you very soon. And then the best way to market your program, fear of missing out. People don't want their kids to miss out on something that other friends are doing, right? So when you create that sold out culture, when you become the one and you say, okay, I have a limit of 75 students for my Parents Night Out event, and you send that email, you will be guaranteed to fill up halfway within minutes. We do a Black Friday promotion for summer camps, and we do it again in July for after school. It's not Black Friday, but we have paid in fulls for after school. And literally within 1 minute, we will sell out, creating anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 of revenue in 1 minute. And then you'll get the text at 8:03 in the morning saying, "Hey, I couldn't get this. I'm sorry, but it's sold out." Seriously, it sold out that fast? Yeah, Again, that's an incredible strategy to use inside your community. It is also highly competitive in the childcare space. You're hearing a lot of people talk about childcare, the cost of childcare in our communities. You're hearing on the federal level. Again, I truly believe something's going to happen here in the next 4 to 8 years, that there may start some subsidies for that. But again, this fear of missing out is even more competitive in the childcare level, right, than your martial arts or your other youth sport programs. And then when we talk about marketing, your growth is enhanced by your team, and your team making real connections inside your community. So I put this chart together so people can see when I had 0 employees, the revenue we were doing, when I had 2 employees, when I had 35 employees, and right now we're sitting at around 61 employees. And so you can see that every time I've added an employee, it typically on average adds about a $5,000 revenue bump per month on average. So again, that's pretty incredible. And then your life is enhanced by your team. So this is where I started. So 2015 to 2018 to really 2019, I was growing my company. That's when I was working 3 other jobs. Literally, I would work at Redbox. Now they're bankrupt. But I worked at Redbox from in the mornings, and then I would go to Office Max. So I'd work there from like 2 to 7. And then I would go to Office Max from 7 to 3:30, and I would unload the trucks as a logistics manager. And then I would leave Office Max and teach my martial art class from 4 to 9. And then 2019 is when I started my after school program. So again, that really unleashed everything I'd been putting into the company. It unleashed it when we started our after school program, and you can see the growth. So this line right here is the gross revenue, and then this is the salary. And then your best marketing is the success of your clients, of your team with your clients. Your team needs the tools to be successful. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Josh Woods here. He has been instrumental. He's been with me for, Francisco, if you can put him on real quick. There he is. He's been with me. Josh has been with me since he was 11 years old. He come to me from another place in Arkansas. No, Alabama. I was close. All right. And he had a black belt there. And when he actually started, he started over as a white belt out of his own free will. He had a friend that was just starting martial arts, and he wanted to start over with his friend. And then I think his friend quit within like 3 months or 6 months or something. But Josh has been with me a very long time. He's the CEO of my company. And we have been working on building something incredible, an incredible tool for after school programs that will really transform and automate everything that you're kind of doing in the background. And again, when you're talking to a $2 million company, the task load continuously increases, right? And so being able to automate that and bring that task load down to where my team can focus on our clients has been our number one priority for probably about a year now, 8 months to a year. So, Josh, you want to share your screen real quick?
I sure can.
So he's going to show you this spreadsheet that we created, and we created it in conjunction with Spark. So he done all of the work, but we utilized Spark to create some of this stuff. Can you get it?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So, there we go. So this is our after school program currently, right? And so we have 9 different teams for after school, 10 different teams for summer camp. And so we color code everything. So everything in our entire facility, from the iPads to the where they sit, their rooms, everything is literally color coded inside of our facility. And we place kids on teams. And what the beautiful part about this is it continuously optimizes your profit margin, right? So if a 7-year-old, 8-year-old are together, that's okay, right? What you don't want is a 9-year-old with a 6-year-old, right? So he's showing you right now the yellow team. So the yellow team, this agenda rotates every day, right? So it automatically does it. Josh has coded it inside of and feel free to jump in if I'm missing something, but Josh has coded it inside the spreadsheet that's shared on Google Sheets, and this sheet is shared to all of our iPads. So every team has their own iPad that goes with them every day. And so it shows arrival. They go to Snack Shack. They have dance. They go to homeworks and snack, and then they go outside and they have Kid Cave and dismissal. So that's their daily agenda for today. Now tomorrow that will rotate. So they may be doing martial arts tomorrow. They may be doing tumbling tomorrow. They may be doing parkour tomorrow. When you look at the attendance box, this comes directly from Spark. So our parents go through the Spark app. They register their kids for classes. And all we do is pull the Excel file from Spark, upload it, and it automatically finds the kid and puts it where they want it to, where they're supposed to be. So if you'll see, Natalie Clary is supposed to go to 4 o'clock martial arts, and she goes to level 1 tumbling. So she's dual enrolled twice, actually 3 times. She has cheer too. So she does martial arts with us, she does tumbling with us, and she does cheer with us. Desmond Miller has class at 4 o'clock, right? So again, this does automatically. All you gotta do is copy and paste the Excel file into Spark. Next up is the snack quantities. So parents do this through Spark. They select how many snacks they want their kid to have per day, and our team on Friday goes through and charges them. So all the coach does is it says that Luke is allowed to have 2 snacks per day. So he may only want 1 today. So Josh will select 1 for him. He may want 2 today. So Josh can go back in and fix it. Super easy, right? And we'll show you guys what that does here in just a minute. Now, if Josh selects 4, well, the spreadsheet's going to automatically say, oh, no, that's incorrect, right? And it's going to flag him for the coach, but it'll also flag us on the back end too for our admin team that's going through and charging these snacks. Now, every day, every week, my parents get a picture. So we send a picture to the kids. So we have different coaches. We have 61 employees. So we have different coaches doing different teams every day, depending on their schedules. So you'll see that Scott Herbst got a picture yesterday. They're supposed to do 5 a day, Monday through Thursday. So by Friday, we're only hunting down a few kids that may not have been here or may have been sick. Now for homework rotates every day too. So it does this automatically depending on what day it is. So our coaches go through and ask them if they have homework. If they do have homework, they'll mark yes. And then during snack time, they'll go ahead and do that during that time. And this is something new we just launched probably in the past, what, Josh, 2 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
2 months is their behavior. So every day that the kid is here, our coaches will go in and mark the behavior for the kid, right? 5 being amazing, 1 being, hey, we need to have a conversation with the parent. And so this report with the notes, so Josh can type that, hey, Luca had an amazing day today on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it is, right? And this behavior score and the notes with 1 click of a button will be emailed out to every parent every week. That way they know how their kid is behaving while they're here with us, right? Again, this is a great tool that we use in order so that parents can be on our side, right? It's not what the kid's telling them. It's our coaches, our team with the parent supporting the kid. And at the very end, you've obviously got your medical concerns. If they don't have any, some of them have peanut allergies or different things like that. It's on there too, so they can see it. Now, the beautiful part about this, so every team is on here. The beautiful part about this, Josh, if you'll scroll over to the absent report. So this absent report, our parents text us every day if their kid's going to be absent, right? And so we go to Spark and we pull our absent report for our after school program every day. We do this at 1 o'clock every day. So these are our kids absent today. So Josh is going to export to Excel. And again, everything's like this. Your class rosters are like this. Your absent reports like this. So he's going to copy and paste that Excel file. I don't know if you guys can see that, but he's working on it. And then he's literally going to import it into our roster. Now, the beautiful part about this is that once he copies and pastes that in here, then if you go to any of the teams, you'll start to see that those kids have been blacked out. Maybe. May have to refresh.
I have to. Oh, almost had it. There we go.
Yeah. So you'll see that instead of having 20 kids on the red team today, now we only have 13, right? And this gives you a real-time live update of how many kids. So if you have somebody call out and you need to kill a team, then you can look at, hey, I've got these kids going to this class. I've got these kids going here. We can take red team and split them across red or silver and black team. And that way they're with a coach, but we're not over our 20 kid maximum, which is required by the state of Tennessee for us. So again, it literally happens autonomously, right? Our routes page also is updated autonomously once you update and do the absent report. So he'll reset it from yesterday. So from here, click of a button, it's reset, and it's going to tell you exactly how many kids you have at each school, right? So based on your bus capacity, you can go in and do your bus routes depending on how you need to do it. Again, this is all automated. This is all ready for you. Josh, if you're showing the configuration page.
Absolutely.
So this configuration page is for you guys, right? So you have a list of available school rosters. You have their schedule. You have literally everything you put in here for your company and how you run things, and it will automatically start doing it, right? Again, it's beautiful. If you're showing the import page real quick, Josh. The import page, this is all of our students. It comes straight from Spark. All we do is download it from Spark. Has all their information. It dumps it in here. We go to team assign. We put them on whatever color team we want, right? Sometimes you have to watch kids with behavior and stuff. It's automatically done. These are all of our after school students. If you'll scroll down, Josh, and you can see how it color codes each kid with each team, how they're all kind of together. Again, we've been working on this for about 8 months. It's beautiful. It helps us. And then last but not least, we show them the snack page.
Charge.
So this is our snack page. We charge this at the end of the week. So if you see so far on Monday and Tuesday, we've made $333 selling snacks so far this week, right? And so our admin team literally goes down the list and says, okay, who's the first one, Josh? Harper Allen. She's bought $3 this week. So they go to her account, charge $3 on Friday, right? And typically every week we'll be somewhere between $800 and $1,000 in snack sales a week, which is a couple of part-time employees. Josh, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, so really this, like we were saying with this configuration page, this is what the whole sheet is ran off of. So like for us, we have certain fields in Spark that are labeled like snack account per day. And like Master Bailey was saying, whenever we use that import page from Spark, which is where we just take all of the gross data and just kind of shove it in, the system does all the looking for you. And so here's where you kind of specify all of the stuff that the system should be looking for. So like our class times are here and these are the hours for it, but at other schools it might be different. So this is where you'll specify, hey, we might not have a 4 to 450, maybe we have a 415 to 445 class, and that's something that you can put in here, and that way everything's kind of floating. And if you add a school to your program and you expand, you can add that in here, and simply that'll put everything on the routes page. It'll put everything in the master attendance page, which will show you what your attendance looks like per school. It'll automatically check everything off. And the whole goal of this entire sheet is so there's less human error. So we don't have to rely on people. Hey, if someone, is absent, we don't have to go into Spark and then mark them absent and then go in the sheet here and then mark them here and make sure that they're blacked out on their roster. Because we used to do all of this on paper where we would have to go in and mark off people, and, rain would get on whatever. The goal of this is that it's dummy proof. So no matter what you're doing, no matter what your team's doing, no matter where they're at, all the updates are live. They're in front of you. All the math is done for you. So you don't have to worry about how much you should charge someone based off of snacks. Everything is done. And so whenever it's Friday time, which is when we charge all of our snacks, we can literally have an admin team person go in and look at, hey, this person needs to be charged this amount. They'll go in, they'll do it, they'll mark it off. And even on this charge page, it'll show you how much you have charged. So if we've charged Harper Allen for this $3 and we check it, it says right here that we have charged them $3 out of the total, which so far is $333 that we need to charge going down the line.
So again, what Josh is saying is this is a great tool for you to have as an owner. Doug Rankin can be in Cozumel, Mexico, and look at live exactly what's happening inside of his program, which is amazing. But also for your team, right? If you want to grow your company, you cannot do it by yourself. You have to have a team. The team has to be there with you. You have to train them. You have to coach them. And then you have to be leading the charge as the CEO of your company. So again, your team is your family. And without your family, you can't be family centric, right? And when we're weaving those webs inside of our community and we're doing all these events, if we don't have a team behind us, paid or volunteers, whatever it may be, we will never be successful. So again, I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys learn something. If you have questions, always feel free to reach out. I'm here all the time. I've emailed a couple people, and Nick was just up here from Tampa. He taught some classes in my facility. So if you'd love to come in and see what we do and teach some classes, I would love it too. Our students would love it. So I think, Pilar, what's the main reasons for students to leave? Typically it's outside of our facility. Most time it's outside of our control. The family moves, somebody loses a job or gets a different job, schedule doesn't vibe well. Sometimes they leave due to other sports, especially when you have big transition periods of, an 8th grader going to high school and they want to do high school football or high school basketball or something of that nature. But the beautiful part too is when you train them young, just like Mr. Josh Wood sitting here, when you train them young, your company becomes the very essence of their life almost, right? And so they're right here with you, leading the charge inside your company. And again, I think that's for me, and living that life of a 10-year-old doing this to a 33-year-old, and now having young men and women behind me that are doing the same thing is just absolutely beautiful. Landry, how do you grow your school in a low income area? I would say that's probably the hardest thing you could possibly do, Landry. For me, I purposely established my school in a very, very high, very affluent area, because I knew the challenge of opening a business was going to be incredible, and I knew that would help kind of alleviate that to some extent. A low income area means that you don't have high profit margins, right? So when you don't have high profit margins, you have to be on top of your books. I do my books myself. I know a lot of people divvy it out. I do them myself because I want to see exactly every day where our profit is, where it's going, right? How much our profit margin is. We typically profit somewhere between 40 and 50% month over month, year over year. And again, I try to maintain that. So I get rid of all my expenses I don't need, right? Every expense I don't need, I always try to get rid of it. Whether it be a $10 Netflix subscription. Again, my wife says I'm super cheap, which is kind of true. My 3-year-old knows that if we go to the grocery store and muffins aren't on sale, we don't buy muffins. We only buy them when they're on sale, which sounds crazy, but that's what we do in my family. So, those community events are going to be your key, right? Community events and referrals are going to be the best thing that you can do, but you have to focus on it. You have to do it. You have to ask people for referrals. And if they don't, then just be like, hey, did you tell your friend about us? I'd love to see him in here, right? And again, it's all genuine. You just have to be a genuine person when you're doing this. Are the snack charges for your students included in your monthly or yearly revenue calculations? Yeah. So pretty much everything goes into our revenue stream. So I don't think there's anything that doesn't go in our revenue stream. But yeah, so everything's included with that. So again, parents selects. We have a lot of parents that they pack their kids snacks. We also have a lot of parents that they don't want to deal with that every day, and they opt to be charged every week for it. So typically on snacks, we charge $1.50 for all snacks, and typically we make somewhere between 80 cents to $1.20, depending on what the kid picks and stuff. So any more questions? Thanks for the questions, guys. I truly appreciate it.
Some good questions as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation, Scott. I had a question, again, taking some notes here. What is it that, in your opinion, because I have my own, that the company that you work for, Redbox, why is it that you think that they went bankrupt?
It's funny because I worked for them for 3 years. It was a great company. They gave you a car stipend. They paid you mileage. They paid you a great hourly rate. Had great medical insurance. And honestly, they adapted a lot. A lot of people don't realize, but they had when Netflix and all that kind of stuff started coming big, they actually took their equipment, their machines, and pushed them out to very rural areas that didn't have internet broadband, right? So that's why you saw them at the Dollar General store that was in the middle of nowhere in in Tennessee or wherever you're at. So they did adapt a lot, which most businesses do not do. But I think the ease and accessibility of having it in people's homes is truly what took out Redbox. Like I said, they're a great company and they did great. Even with Disney, they had a beef with Disney. So Disney would release a movie, but they wouldn't release it to Redbox. So we would go out every Thursday of a release and we would buy every DVD in Walmart, right? And we would come back to the shop and we would take the packaging out. We would put the DVDs in the Redbox case, put the little barcode on it so the scanners could read them inside the machines and put those in our kiosk. So a lot of people don't realize they did that, but yeah, again, they truly were an adaptable company, but I think the ease and accessibility in people's homes was what truly finally pushed them over their limit.
Well, even though I think they tried to be adaptive, what I think ended up happening, or at least again, here's part of my opinion, is that they made some poor choices on how to become adaptive and to be able to change. So that, I mean, if we go back and talk about Blockbuster and how big they were for so long, now everything's streaming mode and how they went out of business as well. So even for any business, it doesn't matter what it is that we're talking about. I think if you choose to say, hey, I can change and I can be adaptive to the new environment, you still have to make the right choices to be able to do that.
Absolutely.
And if not, you end up on the wrong end of the scale anyway.
Well, you see it in the martial art industry all the time, right? And there's this beef between I'm not a daycare center, I'm a martial arts school, right? And and to some extent, I do daycare. But the majority of my students, they're dual enrolled in all my programs, right? 62% of them are, right?
Yeah.
So but it's beautiful for families because now the nuclear family can come back together, right? So instead of the mom picking them up here at 5 o'clock, running them to tumbling class or running them to another martial art facility or whatever they're doing, and then getting home at 6:30 and having to do homework, having to do bedtimes, and then they're in bed by 9 o'clock, the parent's spending an hour with them. Now they get all that here, and by 5 o'clock, that parent can go home, right, and spend the next 3 to 4 hours with their kid or cleaning their house or whatever they need to do, right?
Yeah.
But again, I think our company is bringing that nuclear family back together, which makes me proud.
Oh, very good. And besides, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a daycare if you're accomplishing the task for creating something for your community that's needed.
Yeah. Well, kids need martial arts, right? Probably now more than ever. They need the discipline. They need the accountability. They need to be taught that. Our public school system, in my opinion, is not doing that very well anymore. And so they need people in our community that will step up and lead that charge.
Agreed. Well, thank you, Josh, by the way. Thanks for hopping on here to push along that spreadsheet.
Yes.
A couple of quick things about that spreadsheet is that I've seen that before a couple of times. And the first time I saw it, it was like, holy, this thing, and there's no way in hell this is actually going to be able to work for anybody. And when you learn how it functions and how easy the tasks that are in there, then it's like it's copy and paste, and then the next thing it's the whole world. It's all there, and it makes it. But like I said, it's intimidating to look at that spreadsheet the first time and go, I would never be able to do that. I'm not a technical kind of guy. I'd never be able to make this work. But the truth of it is, it's not hard. It's definitely one of those things that even I can do.
Well, again, the beautiful thing about him is, he's that 10-year-old student that started with me, right? And he is going to school for computer programming, but he's only in year 2. So he was on the phone with Google developers the other day trying to finish up and make sure everything's perfect before he presented today. And he just learned it on his own, right? That's the beautiful part about the world we live in now. You can pretty much do anything you want to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Lonray, you're right. I thought it was intimidating too, but listen, buddy, it's not. Yeah.
And remember, well, the other thing too is we're doing 186 kids a day, right? So if you're starting an after-school program or you have a small program, it'll be much easier. So,
Amen to that. All right. Any other questions for Scott and or Josh while he's here? I don't see anything. Well, listen, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it,
Appreciate you
guys.
hopping on here with us. And
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see you
Thanks for
guys
having us.
soon. All right. So let's see. The next presenter just happens to be me. How about that? Miracles never cease to happen. So let's go ahead and look at, so I think Scott mentioned there's always a tie-in. Let me start there. To any event that I've ever been to, and one person who's doing a presentation doesn't know what the other people are doing for their presentation. There's always a tie-in. And I've heard the word relationship and the word trust already between Sarah and Scott. And my presentation on referrals is exactly the same thing. You have to build a relationship with your clients, and they have to trust you. And when that happens, you can have referrals from those people to add new members, new clients, whatever it is that you want to call them, into your business. And it doesn't matter what business you run. This is true all the way around. So why should you listen to me? Probably there's not a lot of reasons, but I'm gonna give you a few down here. Number one, I own part of 4 different businesses. We created the Apogee Summit 5 years ago. Apex Martial Arts is going to celebrate its 20th birthday in February next year. I've written 3 books. 2 of them have happened to be #1 bestsellers on Amazon. And I'm able to run, or not run, I don't run anything anymore. I'm able to provide help to the companies that are in the States, although I live full-time in Cozumel, Mexico. And for one of the businesses here that I own, we don't meet, we don't have an office. We don't meet face-to-face very often. Once in a while, we'll do that. So what I guess the point is, if you make sure that you have all your bases covered, then there's a lot of things that you can get away with as the owner, the CEO, the president, the whatever it is that you want to call yourself, that doesn't involve you being in work. And how do we do this? Well, this is the presentation that's going to show you the single best way for you to be able to grow your business. Every business has to have a referral program strategy, because quite simply, it's the most cost-effective thing that you can do, because you get the choices. You can have a choice to not pay anybody to do anything, which, you're actually using $0 to be able to add new members to your business, new clients, or you can choose to reduce the rate of return that you're going to spend on being able to get that member in your door. I think, as we know, most of us realize the fact that you have to have different fishing poles in the lake to be able to catch more fish. That's one of the things. Francisco, who's actually doing a presentation coming up after mine, I remember him at an Apogee event saying, if I've got 70 fishing poles in the water, I'm more apt to catch more fish. And it's very true. So in marketing, and that's exactly what we're talking about here, is we're doing marketing through referrals. So we have to make sure that the referral system that we put together is valuable to our company. Because if it's not, then we're just completely wasting our time. We're going to turn into Redbox, and we're going to go bankrupt, because even though we might be trying to do something, we're not changing it the right way. Somewhere in Scott's presentation, he talked about birthday parties and how much money he had done on birthday parties. And a lot of people are going, I don't want to do birthday parties. That's not what I want to do. Well, that's okay. If you want to go out of business because you're not making enough money, or you're not happy with the money that you're making, don't do birthday parties. If you're happy with the number of students that you have, you're good. If you're a Scott Bailey and you have 10 million students in your school, you don't need any more. You don't really want any more. You're good to go. But for about 98% of us that are out there in the world in business, we need more. Well, you've got to make sure that you're leveraging the tools that you have to make that happen. So referrals is another tool. So birthday parties, people come in. He was telling you how, they're paying you to be able to do the marketing. Well, the referral comes from how that birthday party went. Did they do a good job? That the referral comes from, is my kid having a good time in the martial arts program? So the referral comes from people that are happy with your services and what they're doing. What do? God, it's trust. It's trust. And if you don't have good experiences and you don't have trust with the clients that you currently have, then you aren't going to be successful at anything, no matter how hard you try. Doesn't matter if you're doing Google. It doesn't matter if you're doing Facebook. It doesn't matter if you're doing birthday parties. It doesn't matter. So how do referrals work? The simple thing is, we're just encouraging those customers that are satisfied with our business and their experience within the business to do marketing for us. Well, how do you make that happen? Well, it's exactly the same thing. The client has to be happy. And in the slide, it says a satisfied customer. And generally, that is not going to be your primary person who's going to get that referral for you. It has to be somebody who is just off the chart wild about what it is that you're doing for their kid. If you're a pizza business, that the pizzas come out hot and they have all the stuff on there and it tastes good. We have to make sure that those are the persons that we're trying to get to be our referrers. Every business needs to have referrals because we've already talked about it's extremely inexpensive to be able to do. The cost of getting a new member through Facebook and Google now runs between $300 and $500 per person. That's not the prospect. So I can get a cost per acquisition, I can get a cost per click, and those are all going to be smaller numbers. But by the time that person comes in the door, that's going to cost somewhere between $300 and $500. The conversion rate when we get somebody to come in our door from an outside source like Google and or Facebook is going to be less than what it's going to be from somebody who comes from a member that's already in this family who's super excited about what's going on within the business. So the conversion rates go up because of the trust that we have in there. And then it also encourages customer loyalty so that customer is going to stay longer. Again, Mr. Bailey was talking about he's got people that have stayed with him for years and years and years. At Apex, we've got some students that are down there that have been with us 10 plus years as well. We've got to make sure that we're using those people. We're utilizing those people that are there long-term, or those people that are brand new, that are so excited to be there that they're willing to tell others about that. And again, most of us don't do a good job with the referral program. A, we probably don't have a referral program. B, if we have one, that means we're probably not telling people about it. And if we have a referral program and we're not telling about it, we might as well not have one at all. So we've already talked about how the cost for a referral is a lot cheaper than a cost for paid marketing. Also, keep in mind that anything that we do outside, even community events, birthday parties, it doesn't matter what it is, the lead is not going to be as warm or as hot as the one where I go out and I tell my friends the experience that I'm having at XYZ business and what a great job they're doing. If I'm looking for people to make birthday cakes, then I'm going to go and I'm going to say, this place, I went to Bob's birthday cake place, and they did the best job with this cake that I've ever had. I'm going to tell all of my friends that, and my friends are more than likely going to remember that I talked about Bob and how well his cakes were, and they're probably going to go see Bob to do that as well. So we've got to make sure that we have a program that's in place. I keep saying it, and I can't tell you how important it is to have a program in place that you're telling people about that's effective for you. So here it is again, build trust. We've got to be able to build trust with the people that we have as our clients. Our client they can be your most powerful advocate, both positively or negatively. It depends on how you're doing in your particular job. The happiest customers are the ones that are going to be going, I'll do anything. I can see the value of your business and what goes on. At Splinter's Axe House in Cozumel, if people have a poor experience, they're going to tell their friends. Well, what does that mean? That means people are not going to come and throw hatchets down here. So we have to make sure, again, our job is to make sure that we have everybody has a positive experience, and then we ask them to do a couple of things for us. We ask them to give us a review, number one, and then we ask them to tell somebody about their experience so that they can come in and try it out as well. And then again, it doesn't matter what business it is that you use. Doesn't matter your business. You have to have referrals. You could be a construction company. You can be a doctor. It doesn't matter. Okay. So some of the things that you can do to help motivate your clients to be able to be your advocate is that you give them some sort of a reward. You might want to give them some sort of a discount. You can give them a free service. You can give them some kind of special offers. Make them feel like a VIP, because they are. Some of the examples, they get a 10% discount for every successful referral. What does 10% mean? If you're a martial arts school, it could be maybe they get 10% off something in your pro shop. Maybe they get 20% off something in your pro shop. Maybe they get a discount on going to a tournament, maybe a testing. You pick whatever it is that you're going to do. But whatever it is, that cost is still going to be a lot less than you trying to go out and find somebody on Facebook or Google, period. There's no way to get around that. Here's the other examples. You can read those. There's no sense in me going over those things. So the key is making sure that the referral process is easy. If it's cumbersome, you're just not going to do it. It's like learning a form in the martial arts. You're not going to teach a form or pattern that has 62 moves to somebody who's there for their first day. You're just not going to do it, because they're not going to, most aren't going to learn it. They're not going to be able to do a good job, and they're going to get frustrated and they're going to quit. So we have to make sure that we're making the process easy. So the easy thing is you provide an online link or a code that they can share. And by doing this, it makes it simple for the referrer and the referee. Hopefully I'm getting those words right. Sometimes I get confused. The second part of this is automate it so that you don't have to do anything. If I can take care of those two things, then my goodness, it's going to make my life so much easier. This is an example of, we have a program at ProMax called Pro Referral, and we have several different letters that go out. One is an invitation to your team, your clients that are going, hey, we would like for you to be an ambassador to our program and refer our program if you're excited about it. But here's an example of the link at the bottom is especially just for me. And I can send that link out to my friends through text message, through email, social media. You choose how you want to send it out. And as long as it gets out there, if I have a friend that clicks on the link, then automated, they get the trial. So what do you want your trial to be? What do you want your offer to be? Doesn't really matter, but I do suggest that you make it as barrier-free as possible. So for us, normally at Apex in the martial arts program, we do 2 weeks for $29. In our referral, it's 2 weeks for $1. So just $1 to come in and try our program for 2 weeks. And let's see if we can show you the value of what we do for a very non-expensive price. And then once that person signs up, and they're going to, because they've already been referred to by a current client who's happy with your services, we end up giving that client who did the referring a prize. And I would suggest that you do a $100 Amazon gift card, or you can do $100 in cash if you want to. So now all of a sudden that referrer is costing me money. But if I go back and I look at what the value of that new member is going to be, and I forgot what Mr. Bailey said his number was, but it was absolutely off the chain huge, way bigger than mine. You're looking at that value of that lifetime value of that person versus the $100 that you gave them versus the cost of, I don't know, a t-shirt, a pair of pants, a belt, whatever it is that you might give them in your trial program, $125, and you charge more for tuition than that. So the first month you're covered everything there and much more. And if they stay with you at Apex, our average stay is 12 months. It's not great, but it's much better than what the average is for the community in martial arts. The average stay for martial arts, we're told, and again, this is coming from Spark, who has thousands of schools, so they got all kinds of stats and data that they can share, is 8 months. So we've got people that stay 50% longer than the average program does, and we're not happy with that. We want it to continue to go. Anyway, let's keep moving on. You know, that the last slide just said what I already told you. This is how you can do that. So I'm always a slide ahead, aren't I? So what we want to do is we want to be able to track the success of our referrals. How do you do that? You've got to make sure that you have things like, how many leads am I getting in? If I have a trial program, how many trials do I get in? If I have the trial program, how many members do I have coming in? How long does the member stay? What is their average monthly value? And then what is their lifetime value? And when you look at all those things and you have the opportunity to be able to run a successful referral program, I mean, all this is going to do is it's just going to make you money for a very low cost. So our program at Pro Referral, we offer you ongoing support. So it's not just a one-time thing. You can't have a referral program that only lasts or only goes out one time. You have to have the ability to be able to continuously ask people going on. Can you do that in your lobby and have somebody stand out there and go, hey guys, we'd like for you to make sure that you join our referral program. You'll get paid $100 for every person that you bring in. That's great. And you need to be able to do that. But you also have to have technical support and automations that are going to optimize these things for you with as little work from you as possible. And Francisco's going to talk a lot about automations here in a little while so that you can realize how automations can save you time and effort in everything that you do, including a referral program. So for us, Pro Referral, we start a new campaign every month. Every month we get a new campaign asking people to be ambassadors. And that includes the people that we signed up for the month before now. Those are the people that are the hottest about your program because that kid and that parent are really excited about your program because they just signed up. I've got to share this with my friends. I need to share this with my friends because I want them to be as happy as I am about what's going on. These are the things that my child is learning. We have technical support for you. So if you have questions about anything, we'll be there to answer the questions. We actually do all the work for you. The only job that Pro Referral would require you to do as a school owner is two things. Number one, give us a list of all of your clients so that we can send out the first letter, the first email and SMS that goes out, inviting people to refer your program to their friends. And then number two, you give that person the money at the end after they have gotten their friend to sign up into your program. Too simple. It's just too simple to be able to run a program that's this good, that easy. And then, of course, we get to, you can look at your numbers and you can see how this is going. How do you track, all of this information? So whatever referral program you have, and again, let's hope that you have one. Here are some pitfalls that you need to make sure that you are avoiding. Number one, that you're not offering a meaningful reward. Some people are going, well, $100 seems like a lot of money, so I don't want to offer $100. Well, if you don't make this enticing enough to those people that are excited about your program to ask people to come in, they aren't going to do it either. And if they do, they're going to do it on a very small basis. We're talking about this is a blast. This is them getting a link and they can refer 5 people. So they can make $500 in the first month if they want to. There's no limit to this. And again, as a school owner, I don't care whether they bring 1 person or 10 people. I would like to bring 10, and I don't mind giving them $1,000 in cash or Amazon gift cards because they brought those people in and they're already paid for. And I'm going to keep them for 11 more months on average at Apex, and I'm going to make an additional $200 a month off them. So, you put together those numbers and it's a no-brainer. You can't make the process complicated. So for us, Pro Referral is automated. It's simple. It's easy to read how to do. It's easy to explain. Super simple to be able to do. And then the last part is failing to make sure you promote the program effectively. We've already talked about that. And you can't have a referral program and not tell people about it. It's like having the best pizza in the world and keeping it a secret. I want to know who has the best pizza because I love pizza. I want to make sure that you're telling me that, Johnny down here has got the best pizza in the world, and I'm going to try Johnny's pizza and see if you're right. So what do? Regardless of the referral program that you have or the one that you don't have that you need to start small, track your results, and then adjust things as you go. If you want ProMax to help you with the Pro Referral Program, we'll be happy to do that for you as well. Now, here's how ProMax can help you create a referral program. We've talked a little bit about how the program works for you already, but we can tailor the program for your business. So if you're not a martial arts school, or if you have an after-school program or a summer camp program, we have something for you that you can use as a good referral program. It's automated. And again, Francisco is going to talk about automations in a little while, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on doing this. And then we have ongoing support for you so that you're able to do the things that you like and want to do. What are those things? I don't know. Maybe you like to play golf. Maybe you just want to spend time with your family. Maybe you like traveling. Maybe you like doing it. You can't do those things when you're tied down to your business. So using a referral program, an effective referral program, is going to get you more clients, more customers, so that you can make more money, so that you can do those things that you want to. The Pro Referral Program is effortless and it offers rewards. So members refer friends and family. They earn Amazon gift cards. You have to make sure you have that barrier-free attraction for that new client to be able to come in the door. It doesn't cost you anything to set it up, and it has proven results. And again, the system is 99% automated. There's nothing that you have to do. It's a win-win situation because as the members get rewarded, they feel enticed and almost as if they have to continue to bring more people in, because they know that they're going to also get something out of this deal. We've talked about how it's cost effective and that the first month of tuition that the new person pays more than pays for what it is that you're giving away to anybody else. It maintains a quality of experience. So the value of your program is shared. Scott talked about everybody needs martial arts. Everybody needs martial arts. Sarah talked about how we need to make sure that we're doing a better job of communicating to the people that are within our businesses. And if we were able to communicate how important the need for people to have martial arts is for everybody, there wouldn't be a martial arts school here that wouldn't be doing $1 million a year, just because we know the value that martial arts provides to a person and their family. And again, we can broaden that out to not just martial arts, but after school and summer camp programs. We can do, again, what's the value? Construction companies. There's everything. Let's go back to pizza. I love pizza. So it can all be a quality experience and help our businesses grow. For us, if you want to become a part of the Pro Referral Program with ProMax, we set everything up for you. The members share their experience. You get to make money. Simple as that. So referrals drive sustainable growth with a minimal investment. So you've seen what it is that we're able to do and how much it's going to cost, and it doesn't cost anything. It is the single most cost-effective way for you to be able to grow your business. So if you have questions about anything, here's two places that you can go. Number one, you can go to Doug@promaxmarketingagency.com. Send me an email and say, hey, I'm interested in what it is Pro Referral has, and we can sit down and we'll talk about it. Or two, you can just go to our webpage, promaxmarketingagency.com, and it's going to explain to you part of what Pro Referral does as well. We want to make sure that since the referral program for you is so easy and seamless to do, that we make it easy and simple for you to be able to get that done as well. Last thing for you guys, talked about at the very beginning how we started a congress, a convention, a seminar, a summit, whatever it is that you want to call it, 5 years ago in Georgia called the Apogee Summit. The whole reason behind that was because at the time I had spent years traveling literally the globe, being able to go to so many different seminars and events that I would get these nuggets, take back to the team at Apex, implement those programs, and then we were able to grow. And there were a lot of people that didn't have that same luxury. I mean, it's expensive to be able to fly to Mexico. It's expensive to be able to fly to San Diego. You've got hotel costs and flights and all these things to be able to go in there. But again, when you thought about how much money I'm spending, on average, when I would go to an event, it probably would cost me around $1,000. That's give or take. Okay. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more. But when I brought back that information from that event and I implemented it, and we were able to bring in new clients because of that we normally wouldn't have gotten, it more than paid for the cost of me going to that event, not to mention the networking that you can do at the event as well. I would imagine that I've gotten more ideas from people networking afterwards, sitting at a table drinking a beer, than I may have gotten inside the building listening to a person telling me, hey, there's all these cool things. So if I'm sitting in a building now and I'm telling you about referrals, if we were to leave and we were to go out to have a beer and you had questions about referrals, we could answer that. If you had questions about, gee, Scott Bailey, how is it that you are managing to run a $2 million business? Then he would be able to answer that for you. If you were to ask Sarah, hey, what is it that you can tell me that's going to help me with my communication with my team, that's going to make them better, she'd be able to answer those questions for you. And you wouldn't, and it's one-on-one. It's like a private lesson for, I don't know, whatever it is we're talking about. So here's the website. It's cozumel.apogeesummit.com. It's going to be January 22nd and 23rd here in Cozumel, Mexico. I probably should have put the dates on the slide, but I didn't. And we have our early bird special, but it ends tomorrow. So it's only $199 for you to register to come to Mexico. Flights currently are inexpensive. January is high season for Mexico, and people are going to start booking flights soon. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and get your flight booked now for January while it is inexpensive. Number three, I can't remember which. We have a hotel here that I don't remember the cost off the top of my head for the reservation, but it's under $100 for a hotel room that sits right on the Caribbean Sea that you are able to just look out your window and enjoy. They offer a free breakfast. We're going to have a great event at Splinter's Axe House in Cozumel as well for everybody who shows up, everybody who comes. So we're really excited about this event. We look forward to having you guys there. Thank you, Francisco. Francisco's going at $60 to $100 depending on the room and the time of the booking. The sooner you do it, the cheaper you get it, because again, high season here is coming. High season usually is considered sometime middle of November, and by the time January here, there's going to be a lot of people from Canada that are going to be going, I am getting the hell out of Canada where it's snowing, and I'm coming down to Mexico where it's nice and warm. All right, so we're going to end everything there for me. See, are there any questions for me before we move on to our next presenter? Looks like we're going to make it easy. There's going to be no questions for Doug. I like that. That means that I made this presentation easy enough that you're going to be able to implement a referral program into your business, no matter what it is. And it's going to be simple. It's going to be automated, and it's going to make sense for you to go forward. All right. So our next presenter is Francisco Chargoy. Thank you, Francisco, for joining in. Francisco, by the way, hasn't just joined in. He's been here all day. He's pushing all the buttons back behind as we're doing our event here for the day. And I know Francisco is going to talk about automations. And man, I tell you what, if you don't have automations in your life, you are missing out on one of the greatest aspects of using any kind of a CRM, because even though there needs to be a human touch, there has to be a human touch, you also have to have automations that go out that explain to everybody what's going on, so that, because obviously you can't talk to somebody all the time, but an email can go out at any point. A text message can go out during certain times of the day. So it's easy to be able to take an automation and help it make your life easier, so that, again, you can spend your time doing the things that you want and like to do. So that being said, Francisco, let's go ahead and get you started, sir, and show these people what the power of automations can do for them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ranking. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, depending where you're watching or the time of the day that you're watching this. As mentioned, my name is Francisco. I've been part of this incredible journey here with Promax since the beginning. It's been a long process, and one of the things that has fascinated me the most about being part of this business is the automations. I mean, I've worked in other companies before, and if I would have had the chance, if I would have had the opportunity to be able to automate 90% of my processes, I would have been a king, you know. And when I started working with this company, I learned about, you know, that we could automate pretty much 90% of everything that we could possibly think of, you know. And a wise man, when I started doing this, once told me, you know, that if you could map it, if you could picture it, you could pretty much automate everything and anything that you want, you know. So that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today, the power of automations and how it can actually revolutionize the way you do business, you know. I'm going to show you how you can actually save time, reduce errors, which is another important aspect, you know, on the automating part side of things. And of course, you know, free up the time and focus on what really matters, you know, which is literally growing your business, you know. Those, you know, involved in the martial arts industry, most of you guys love teaching. You know, you hate answering the phone, you hate following up, you hate, of course, because that's not what you're meant to do, you know. So that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today, which is the power of automations and its importance. So hope you guys like this. So, you know, when we talk about automations, we're basically referring to the technology that reduces or eliminates, the manual task. This could be anything from automatically sending up a follow-up email, tracking customers' data in real time. You know, today, you know, we're just going to explore this in a crucial side for your business. So the actual definition of an automation is the use of technology to perform the task with a minimal human intervention. This could be as simple as automating your credit card, your bills, you know. I mean, I always like to use this example. I don't recall, you know, when was the last time that I had to go pay for my water bill or my electricity bill. I'm sorry, but my time is too important for me to go to the actual desk, you know, of the water bill or the electricity bill to pay for my bill, or even logging into the computer. Nowadays, I mean, you don't have to go there, but you can go into the computer and pay for it. I mean, I just literally give my credit card and charge my water, my phone, my electricity, whatever, you know, and whatever else is out there, you know. You can nowadays pretty much program or auto pay your monthly credit card charges, and you can have it set, you know, auto pay, you know, whatever amount, you know, $500, $1,000, $2,000 automatically on each one of these days. So this is all typical ways of automating things, you know. And as I said, you know, if you can automate it and just get that out of your head, do it, you know. So like I said, you know, streamline the process, saves times, and improves, you know, the accuracy. When we talk about, you know, just going back to the example of paying for the water bill, I would always forget, you know, is the 30th, is the whatever date. And I would literally have to run at the last minute before they would close, stop what I was doing and go pay for a darn water bill, you know. When I started, you know, auto paying it, I don't even remember. Sometimes I just see the credit card bill statement and, oh, okay, you know, I got charged for it. Okay, cool. You know, that's it. But I don't even have to think about that anymore, you know. And, you know, so, you know, let's actually, on the next step, on the next slide, we're going to take a look at what the automation was in the past, or what would happen, or what it was like in the past, and you know, what we're going to look at in the future. So if we want to go back a few years ago, before the automations came into the mainstream, we would have to be running a business, spending hours and hours and hours on repetitive tasks, inputting data into spreadsheets, sending follow-up emails, manually managing leads by hand. I mean, this was just tedious, you know. It was time-consuming and prone to human error. And I'm sorry to say this in the past, but I believe, without, you know, any hard feelings to anyone, please, from you guys to me, but if this sounds like you, this should have been in the past already. And you could literally focus on what's in it for you in the future. Just like Mr. Bailey was saying, you know, it took them a great amount of time, hours, on building that spreadsheet for 8 months. But guess what? You know, once you have it built, once that is established, it's just an autopilot, you know, just free flow. So, I mean, spend the time, build out your automations. There are lots of great CRMs out there that actively allow you to automate a lot of processes. I mean, Promax being one of them. If you don't know how to automate the process, if that is something that scares you, if that is something that does not, it's appealing to you, get someone to do it for you. pay someone to do it for you. Here's Mr. Bailey hiring his COO, Joshua. I mean, you're not a do-it-all person, but automate that process, So basically, avoid the repetitive task. I mean, who can relate to this image right here on the slideshow with the computer and having sticky notes all over the place to remind yourself what to do and having it loose somewhere, I mean, let the automations help you out. So, once again, the burden of the manual process. I mean, this visual representation is how overwhelming manual processes were, or are currently. Just imagine spending hours of tracking customer data on spreadsheets, like I said, and only to misplace the critical information or forget to follow up with a lead. If this sounds familiar, make sure that you're prepared to the next step. Make sure that you're ready to start your journey on the automation system. I'm not saying that you're gonna let go of your business, but at least automate the simple tasks that are constantly having you to do it over and over again. As I mentioned with Mr. Bailey, built out 8 months a spreadsheet. They're ready to go. They don't have to do anything else. Maybe a couple of tweaking every now and then, but it's gonna save them a whole bunch of time. And as I mentioned in the beginning, the most important thing, at least in my point of view, of the automation, is going to eliminate the human error. We're humans. We make mistakes. We all do, but when you build it out, when you have a system, it's going to automatically alleviate all those errors. So what's in it for us in the present? The landscape has changed drastically. Today, we have access to tools, a whole bunch of CRMs out there that are automatically tracking everything for us. No more worrying about losing data or missed opportunities. Automation handles the busy work so you can focus on your strategy. Like I said, Promax being one of the CRMs, we've been focusing for the past 4 years or whatever in martial arts industry, but we're opening it up right now to all other industries or any other specific task or aspects that you would like to automate. Bring it on. There's literally, and don't quote me on this, I'm sorry, about 90% of everything that you can think of, we can automate the process. So once again, going back to focus on the thing that really matters, spending time with your family, teaching, growing your business, payroll, whatever, whatever's out there, at least a repetitive task, you don't have to worry about so much about that. So moving on to the next one, the transformation and automation of repetitive tasks, automations nowadays will allow us to build workflows that will run themselves. Let me ask you guys this that are attending this webinar, the ones that are watching it, the ones that registered. You guys got reminders instantly when you guys signed up for this webinar. You guys got a reminder, don't quote me on this, about a week before. You guys got a reminder 1 day before, 1 hour before, 10 minutes. You guys are going to get reminders right now of the replay of this 1 hour after this is the broadcast is finished. Do you think it was me who was sending you this information, manually? Do you think it was Mr. Rankin? Do you think it was Era? No way. It was none of us. I mean, we didn't do any of that. It was all automations. Of course, as I mentioned, it was pre-built already by the team. Once that was built, we have to let it go. I mean, actively as we're speaking, we have clients, running in the background with our current clients who are sending X amount of text messages, emails for birthday parties, for appointments and all that. None of us is actually doing that. However, it was pre-built. Those repetitive tasks are already out of our hands, and we can focus now on something else, which is like me right now presenting, right? So as I mentioned, nurturing all those leads, automatically engaging with customers, sending follow-up emails, SMS, messages, based on the specific triggers, without anyone have to do anything manually. It's efficient, and it definitely scales your business, As complicated and as scary as it would sound, once you get it done, it's over. I mean, you don't have to worry about another thing. So a little bit, of comparison, the past versus the present. In the past, this is what it would look like. You would have to do everything manually. And nowadays, I mean, it's all literally in one single spot. As I mentioned, lots of great, cool CRMs out there that have limitations. Some of them, are grown a little bit more. At least the one that we're using in Promax is super built that you could literally do anything that you wanted to, as mentioned. So, just to basically illustrate this transformation, Here's a side-by-side comparison. On the left, we have the old way of doing things, manual lead tracking, disjointed communication, human error. And now on the right-hand side, as mentioned, everything is handled automatically. Lead data is automatically tracked, follow-up are timely, and everything is consistent. So, it's here. Why not take advantage of it? So a couple of benefits of automations for any business. Let's focus on the tangible benefits of automation offer. Okay. First, it saves time, as I already mentioned. That's one of the things that I love so much about automations. You can automate my personal percentage up to 90% of repetitive tasks. I'm sorry, but we still have to put in a little manual hand labor, but 90% that it saves you in time, why not? I'll take it. Second, as I mentioned, is going to ensure that it's constantly, that your customers are always receiving the same high quality of service, because you automate that text message, you automate that email, and that customer is always going to receive that same template, that same text message, that same email. So it's, basically dummy proof. There's no way to go wrong once you design it, once you have it built, no way to go wrong. Third, it's going to help you scale efficiently as your business grows. Talking about Mr. Bailey handling 180, what was it, after schoolers, whatever he said. Imagine being able to keep track of all the small little details without creating the magnificent spreadsheet that he created. I'm sorry, we could be the top business owner out there. It's just not scalable. Maybe you're able to do it, but at what time, how long is it going to take you to do all that, right? So finally, it's cost effective. There's no need to hire extra hands for routine tasks. Yes, Mr. Bailey had to hire his COO, Joshua, but now that they have it in place, there's nothing else to do. Now that you have your automations in place, you don't have to do anything else for it. It's just literally I like to call it autopilot. So a case study, Promax, our CRM automations, like I said, we manage, and as Sarah mentioned in the beginning of her presentation, a pretty built, complex automation system. I like to call it complex because it's a lot of building, a lot of moving parts. But you, as the front end person, you don't have to worry about anything in the back end. But once it's built, all the automation parts move from one side to the other without you having to worry about anything. So here's a real life example. Like I mentioned, we at Promax use everything automation. I'm sorry, but we automate everything. When a new lead comes in, our system sends them a personalized welcome email message, it schedules a phone call, and tracks their interaction without anyone lifting a finger. Okay. This system, has basically helped us nurture all the leads for our clients on a more effective than a manual process would ever be possible. A lot of our customers, ask us, how do you keep track of all the calls that are coming in? Or how do you know when somebody replies? Well, we are on top of things, but we're also doing things by automations. We get the system essentials, a reminder, somebody just sent a message. Like right now, Mr. Morris, if you're still in, you asked for the link, and I believe you asked us through the chat widget on our website, if I'm not mistaken. How could I be tracking a chat widget? I wasn't. I'm going to be plain simple and honest, but I got an automation that sent me and said, hey, somebody sent a message. Boop, I jumped into my CRM. I sent you the information. Same thing with, I believe it was Master Ceballos. He actually sent a message. I got the reply. Somebody sent a message. I went in, and typed back. So yes, we are really good, but we also have a lot of systems that are implemented in the back end that help us alleviate all of this trouble. Great. So a little bit of an example. This is what I was talking about, a little case study, once again, like I said, about us, Promax in the CRM. Here's a little live sample of what our automations look like, This is an actual text message. And the cool thing about automations is you can have it act on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, on a text message, on a website, on chat box, whatever form of communication, you can automate this process, okay? This is what it looks like on a text message. You can have logos included on it. You can have the simple text. You decide what to include on it. And on the right-hand side, we have here the example of a customer booking an appointment. If you guys are able to see it, or I don't know if it came up with the time, but if I recall correctly, this was like around 12 o'clock at night. I can guarantee you none of us was up. Well, I probably was, but I was not looking after the account. But the automation system was the one that booked the appointment for the client. After sending X amount of text messages and email with hyperlinks to book the appointment, this is how it actually happened. So a little example of how that works. So a little bit about the automations. Again, I'm sorry if this is too small, but I just couldn't fit it any better. So this is a live sample of how our workflows work, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's a referral program. And I'm sorry to say this, I'm going to open up a parenthesis and a gap. Mr. Bailey, your birthday party programs are great. Mr. Rankin, your referral program is great. Sarah, your communication answering of inbound calls are great. None of them would have worked that great if they wouldn't have automations in it. Okay. Imagine doing all of that. I mean, Mr. Rankin did mention, that automations and all that, but none of your guys' programs would have worked as great if you wouldn't have automation. So once again, integrate all of your lead sources, birthday parties, referral program, Facebook, Google, website, whatever you want to call it, into the same funnel and have it act upon you so that you don't have to worry about, taking care of any of that. So like I said, when a lead comes in, our system is going to send them a personalized welcome email, schedule a phone call, and track their interactions without anyone lifting a finger. This system has helped us nurture leads for more effectively manual process than we could ever done on manually. So this is just another example. I'm going to show you guys another one of the complex side of things, if you want to call it, that Sarah mentioned. You guys don't have to worry about this because this is only for us in the back end. And all you have to do is just auto flow on the front end. I'll show you guys another one of what it actually looks like on a couple of our CRMs. So you guys can, just take a peek and see the complex behind it. And moving forward, let's go ahead and do a live sample. Who's ready to do that? Any of the participants that are watching us right now actively through the live stream or through social media, be ready. Grab your phones, please. Make sure that you have them turned in to your scanning the QR code, whether you're using iPhone and you have directly through the camera, or if you need to open up a second app, have it open, because what we're going to do in a moment, I'm going to ask you guys to scan a QR code. Once you do that, give it a second or two. You guys are going to receive an automated sequence of messages, just like the ones that we're setting up for a business using Promax. This is exactly the way your customers will experience when you guys are using a set of automations like ours. So if you guys are ready, I'm going to move to the next slide. This is just an example. This is a QR code, nothing out of the extraordinary. Anybody can scan it. Go right ahead. Let's wait a couple of seconds for you guys to scan the QR code. Of course, it's going to take you to a landing page where you guys are going to be asked to drop in your information. But the important part is not the QR code. Everybody's doing QR codes. Yes, everybody's doing forms. But how many of you guys are automating that process afterwards? Like, for example, asking for a Google review. Like, for example, asking for a feedback on your services and all that. Go ahead and do that. Let's wait another 10, 15 seconds so that you guys are able to process this information. And while I'm finishing up my presentation, please observe over the next 2 or 3 more minutes that is gonna take me to finish up what we have any Q&As, and take a look at the time that it's gonna take for you to get the first message. Watch out, because you're gonna get it through email, and then it's gonna interact through another text message. What I want you guys to take from this, to observe from this, is that it's not all in a text message. It's not all in an email. We can play around with automations however it is that you want it. My automations, I decided to create them like that. Instant message, a couple of minutes to a text message, another one, a couple more minutes to an email. And then at the very last one, that is going to take in total about 7 minutes, you guys are going to get a hyperlink at the very end where you guys are going to be able to book a discovery call with me. And we can talk about in a lot more details, either about our services that we have already pre-built for Promax, or anything a la carte that you guys would like to do. So hope you guys had some time to be able to scan the QR code. I'm going to move into the next slide, and please observe and watch over the next few minutes what the actual automations look like. So awesome. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and bring up a little bit about Q&A. questions. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have anything else that you guys would like to ask, please go right ahead. I'm going to, basically ask anybody if anybody, how do you actually currently manage your leads? If anybody is out there and would like to share their thoughts, if they're doing it automatically through a different system, if they're doing it manually, if they're using Spark. I know Spark has automations. How are you guys? Ask this question to yourself. How are you guys managing the leads yourself? The other one, what tasks in your business are the most time consuming and repetitive? Think about that part, for a second. Give it a thought. If possibly reminding your students, that their monthly tuition is due in 3 days, is due in a week, think about it. You could actually automate that process, so you don't have to ask any of your active members for the payment. Ask yourself that. The other one, how much time do you think automating your follow-up could save for your business each week? I mean, once again, none of the automations that you guys are experiencing right now, I'm doing physically. Believe me, neither is Doug or Sarah or Pilar or anyone else. Okay, that is all being done automatically. So how much time did it save me? 100% of my time. And because I'm actively doing two things at once, presenting to you guys, and then, of course, doing that automation as well. So think about this one. Have you ever missed an important follow-up because of a manual process? How many times have you guys had an appointment and that you completely forgot because you didn't set yourself a reminder or you didn't have an automation system ready to go? And I'm going to be brutally honest. I had a discovery call, if I'm not mistaken, with Master Moss, one of our newest clients out of Vista, California. And Mr. Moss, if you're watching this, please, say hello. And then you're going to remember about this part. I had totally forgot that I had this was a discovery call. I mean, how much important is a discovery call for anyone, right? I mean, this is a potential new client for us. And I totally forgot about the appointment. But because I had the automations send me a reminder 30 minutes before, 10 minutes before, and 5 minutes before, I was like, oh, shoot, I totally forgot. So I literally stopped what I was doing and I jumped into the Zoom call that I have with him. So, how many appointments have we missed? How many calls have we missed because we did not have reminders, we did not have automations created for that so that it can help us out? So how would your business change if no lead was ever missed and every customer received timely communication? Another client of ours, I'm not going to say his name, he said, we suck at following up. I mean, we're great at teaching, we're great at this, we're great at that, but we suck at following up. I mean, we'll forget. We'll probably follow up on the first and the second day, and that's about it. And if you guys can relate to that, by all means, go get yourself some automations, reach out to us, but help yourself out. There's nothing wrong with that. So what aspects of automations do you find the most appealing for your business? If any one of you guys are using automations currently, which one do you think it's the best automation that you have out there? Okay. Me, personally, the best one that I love is in a birthday party system. Okay. In the birthday party system, whenever somebody books a birthday party, they get a personalized link, like Mr. Rankin explained, pretty similar to the referral program. But as the days go by and as the birthday party comes up, the parent or the birthday party celebrant gets a link with a reminder that they're going to host a birthday party, next week, next month, or whenever. And they also get the list of the attendees. Okay. How in the world any one of us could have done this manually? Impossible. Okay. So not only them, but at the same time that the parent is getting the reminder that they have a birthday party hosted in a week or 2 weeks or whatever, with the list of the attendees, the school owner, the school representative, the program director, or the person in charge of the birthday party will get the same exact content so that both parties can get the same reminder. Okay, let me prepare myself for 10 attendees. Let me prepare myself for 50, whatever the case is, right? I mean, the same thing happens with our day events. Trunk or treat was just a few days ago. Picture with Santa's coming up in a few days. Automate the process, guys. If you don't have it implemented, reach out. And like I said, we'll go ahead and do it for you guys. So how many leads do you currently handle per week? And do you think your current system can scale? Basically, ask yourselves, are you handling 5, 10, 15 leads a week? because that's your capability because you're doing it manually. What if you had an automation system and you'd be able to handle 20, 30, 40, 100? But because you have an automation that helps you remember who you're supposed to call, who you're supposed to follow, help yourself out. What kind of personalization would you like to see in automated communication with your leads or customers? So this is a great one. One of our latest clients, Elite Martial Arts, they asked us, what if we were able to send a customizable image welcoming whenever somebody signs up for an appointment? Honestly, we tried that before, but we had never actually implemented, and we're just going to begin to do that, Like I said, the possibilities are endless. If you could think about it, if you could map it, if you could put it somewhere, it's more than likely possible. I believe it's about to be done, by the way. And I mean, we're going to see a new set of reminders with a personalized picture, with a personalized audio, welcoming whatever lead because they're coming in for an appointment. I mean, how cool is that? That you can get really personal. And once again, without anyone in his team or in our team lifting a finger, because all that is automation automatically. So what concerns do you have about switching from manual processes to automated systems? Guys, don't be afraid. There's a beginning to everything, always. There's always a beginning to everything. But once we take the first step, we won't ever go back to the manual process. I'm sorry, but then we're hosting a meeting, yesterday, or when was it, Mr. Rankin, on the trunk or treat event, Apex did it sort of manually, half of that process. And I was like, sir, next time, let's automate it. Why are we wasting time doing manual things when we could have automated at least that small portion that they did manually, right? So by all means, once you start doing the automation journey, you will always think at everything as of, is it going to save me time? What if I do this? What if I do that? Can we implement? Can we do this? So automate it, guys. Don't be afraid. Take the first step and automate it. So last but not least, and the last question, that I would like for you guys to ask yourselves is, if you could automate one part of your business today, what would it be and why? If anyone would like to answer that question right here in the chat box, I would love to read it. Once again, if you could automate one part of your business today, what would it be and why? To me, if I could automate one thing, it would be, and we're about to do it as well. I mean, we haven't implemented the outbound calls. Our calling team spends a tremendous amount of time calling leads that 30-40% don't ever answer, at least on the first call. So what if we could automate that process where the calling team wouldn't have to physically dial that number, and we can have a set of automations call out at the same time, and whoever picks up would go directly to our agent. That's something that we're working also behind the scenes. And how cool would that be? I would have saved hundreds and thousands of hours on my other jobs when I did also as a call center agent. I would have saved a whole bunch of times if I would have had any of these implementations for the other business. So I hope that you guys have had some time to review the automations. Please go ahead and drop in the comments. Go ahead and drop in the social media. What did you guys think, about the automation? Once again, I didn't do anything. Neither anyone on the team did. You guys should have received by now, I think, all the automations. The very last one is going to be the consultation. When you guys see that link, that will be the last one. And so if anybody wants to reach out and dive into a little more of what, automations can help for your business, feel more than free to reach out. So here's a question from Pilar. And it basically says, can you create an automation for my husband and kids? I will pay you whatever goes. Absolutely. Absolutely, we can. You tell me what reminders they need to be placed. So one thing, though, about the automations is we cannot have them obligate them to do something. We can set a lot of reminders. We can send a lot of reminders via text message, via email, via phone call, via Facebook, whatever. But Pilar, I'm sorry, if they don't choose to take a step to make that action happen, we can help you with it. So yes, we can create that. Absolutely. Confirming, yes, Sid received a total of 2 SMS and emails. Awesome. Thank you. So last but not least, as Mr. Rankin said, for the first time in Apogee history, we are going to have Apogee live in Cozumel, Mexico. Guys, this is a tropical paradise. I think to some of you guys that I've talked to over the past weeks or so, I mentioned it's already live. It's already here. January 22nd and 23rd. Apogee Cozumel, Mexico is going to be live. There's going to be lots of great speakers, important personnels in the martial arts industry and in the business industry as well. Please go ahead and sign up in the URL link, cozumel.apogeesummit.com. Also, get your preferential rate at Casa Mexicana anywhere between $60 to $100, depending on the time that you book and depending on the type of room that you get. There are 2 different hotels that you can book from. One thing that I forgot to put here is the coupon code. But anyways, if you guys go to the CozumelApogeeSummit.com, you guys will be able to see the preferential rate, the coupon code that you guys will get to sign up during this time frame. Even though the Apogee Summit may be on the 22nd and the 23rd, you guys are still going to be able to book before, and you guys are going to be able to book afterwards, so you can actually have a longer stay and still have the benefit of that wonderful rate that you guys have. And as you guys have known in the past, if you guys need any help with anything and everything about your booking or with Apogee or whatever else, feel free to reach out. I'll leave you guys here my personal information that you guys can also, if you guys don't have it by now, if you guys don't have my email or if you guys don't have my personal number, here you go. And I'm all ears, as you guys already know. I don't know if I missed any questions. Was there any questions at the end? Mr. Laundry says, woohoo. Yes, sir. Let me just go back over here. Mr. Morris says, yes, you are correct. So thank you, Mr. Morris. Thank you, Mr. Laundry. It was a pleasure having this few minutes to talk to you guys about automations. If anybody else has any additional questions, feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to answer any possible questions you guys can have. Sorry, Mr. Rankin. I actually added you while you were adding yourself. So I don't know who removed each other. But
we got, it was like clicking buttons at the same time. That's, again, technology, when it works for you and when it doesn't. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and add Sarah and Scott back in, too, I think, just for fun. All right. There we go. So there's your speaking group for the day. So really excited about everything that you guys had to say. And like I said, it's, the 4 of us work together, and we meet several times a week to have discussions. And still yet today, I've made several notes on things that I know that I took out of your presentations that I'm going to be able to help improve not just one business, but several. And, when we're talking about, even Francisco's going, we're going to improve this one for our own business. We're going to use this to improve our own business of Promax. And I think that's just a really cool thing. I don't know if I can do this or not, but let me try. Can I share my screen?
Yep.
We're going to see. So we're going to give the, I don't know what that means. We're going to give the plug for Promax Marketing Agency here. And I just wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that we do. And when you look at all of these things that Promax can do for you, it's just, it's an amazing benefit that you have as a school owner. And Promax works for me at Apex, and it works for me at Splinters. So it's doing more than just a martial arts school that might have an after school and or a summer camp program. So, and how do we utilize that? We utilize it using ProCalls. What is ProCalls? It's our contact center. So that's your first contact. So that's where they start building the relationship and trust with your client. Thank goodness, they're bilingual. So here at Splinters, in Cozumel, we'll get several calls from people that are Spanish speaking. Well, we're able to handle all of that. And then we answer the ProCalls answers your phone during the course of the day, I think until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Is that right, guys?
7 p.m. local time.
Local time, yes. Local time, the school's local time, not ours, okay? So, yes.
Yes, so wherever you are. So if you're on the West Coast, it's your local time until 7 p.m. And the reason that we chose 7 p.m., we used to do 9, but the percentage of calls was less than 3%, I think, of calls made after 7 p.m. local time. So we just moved it back. We offer Pro Social, and there's your ad management system. So, we'll do your Facebook and Google ads. We'll give you blogs. We'll do social media posts. Pro Party Manager, there's what really this is the program that's going to teach you how to do a birthday party so that you can make Scott Bailey kind of money doing this kind of thing. Pro websites, we make websites. The websites are bilingual, I guess multilingual technically is what they are. And again, there's a part of the community in the United States that we, as martial artists and business owners, don't capitalize on, and that is the Spanish-speaking version of that client. And our website's able to do that. So, can your website convert something from Spanish into English? Absolutely, Google will do that for you. But I'm also going to tell you that Google gets wrong a lot of stuff. When we did the website for Splinters Cozumel, and it would convert it into English. Do you remember, Sarah, what it said? Instead of, it was a big bold thing that said something about throwing hatchets or throwing axes or something. Do you remember?
No, but it happened the same with Apex. Sometimes the wording, the translation is not the proper one, because in English and also in Spanish we use our slang words, and it just simply doesn't work. Even nowadays that we have the AI, sometimes also the AI doesn't have still the ability to translate those kind of phrases.
It doesn't, but what we've done is we've solved that problem for you. And the automations that Francisco was talking about that go out to your leads have all been vetted by somebody whose native language is Spanish. So again, it gives us an opportunity, it gives you an opportunity to be able to do that. And then one of the things that I think I'm most proud of is the widget, the AI widget that we have on our websites that allows you to, or your website, to be able to answer, God, any one of, I'd be willing to say hundreds of questions at this point accurately. And like any bot, it's going to still make some errors. But when that happens on our AI, generally it gets sent to somebody who speaks. So, it's like, hey, I'm sorry, let's pick up this conversation where we left off. And then lastly is the Pro Referral Network, and that was the one where we're talking about how to get your clients to be your raving community, and then how to be able to get them to build your business as you go. And if I click here, there's our phone number. If you have questions, I don't think we mentioned our phone number anywhere besides Francisco. So you can call Francisco directly. You can call this number down here directly, and you'll be able to talk to one of our team to be able to do that. But you get all of those things in what we call Pro Pack for a grand total price of $597. And the only thing that we do is we do charge a $297 setup fee one time. But if you look at the top, you get half of that back if you give us the onboarding documents within 14 days. And let me tell you why we do that. Because when we first started, business owners are busy. So they take their time in order to get stuff done. So what it ended up is they're paying us monthly fees to do a job for them that they haven't given us all the information that we needed to be able to do the job. So we weren't doing the job for them. And we don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste your money. So $600 a month, guys, allows you to be able to do all of the things that are going to be able to make you successful. All of the things that are going to save you time, effort, energy, and money. And I mean, can you hire somebody for $600 to do what do you pay on average in Knoxville to a part-time person, Scott?
Anywhere from like 15 to 18 most of the time, depending on what their level is and what they're doing. But director levels are more than that.
So let's say they're I almost used a bad word. So let's say that they are not the sharpest tool in the shed. So what that does, $600, that allows them to work 40 hours. So they could work 10 hours a week for you. 10 hours a week at $15 an hour would be $600. And you get everything for, I mean, this is like an 80-hour-a-week job that we're doing between answering phone calls and automations and, all these kind. Even if we just look at pro calls and they're answering the phone for 10 hours a day, you know, 10 hours times 15, now we're at 150. So you spent, you're spending more money to be able to do that. And it just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, that was my last shameful plug for Pro Calls. Any parting comments from you guys today?
I just think the beautiful thing is, Landry mentioned about how to help small schools grow or schools in low income areas. This is a great tool, right? Because again, you're getting all these products into one package, which we've all worked really hard to create for schools. And I think it's the biggest takeaway I want people to take home with them today is people helped us get where we are, right? Now it's time for our opportunity to help back, right? And I think me and you, Mr. Rankin, and with the help of Francisco and Sarah, are really driving this industry into the future. And that's the amazing part about what we're doing.
Agreed. Francisco?
I was actually thinking about what you said about the 80 hours a week. And I have to say that we work 24/7. In between our team that we have here in Cozumel, the team that we have abroad. I was thinking about that last night while I was going to sleep at 1 a.m. because I was finishing testing all this. I was like, Sarah gets up at 5 a.m. to begin her shift. She doesn't get up till like 5 or 6 p.m., I get up like around 6 o'clock before my kids' basketball practice. But then I come back and we work 24/7, Mr. Rankin. I'm sorry to say this, but, it's not an 8-hour job. It's 24/7, So just wanted to say that.
You're right. All right, Sarah?
Well, all the tools that our company offers, they are just simply amazing. You guys out there, the only thing that you have to do is have a clear vision of what you want for your business. It doesn't matter where you are located. It's have a clear vision, and having us as part of your team. Not we will be part of your team all the time and be, as Francisco said, 24/7 for you. You will rock. You will be the best of the best in your area. It's just a conjunction of working all together and just be great and give back to the community that it's also giving to us.
Well said. Well said. All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap things up. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us, and we'll be happy to help you. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Halloween is tomorrow. So if you got trick-or-treating going on with kids, make sure that you're safe and cautious about all those things. And it's the end of the year, guys. November is in 2 days. So it flies by fast. So if you're going to take action on something, you might as well go ahead and make action quickly so that you can go ahead and start making yourself a better life, essentially is what it comes down to. Again, if you want to grow your business, we can be a large help in that. All right. So we'll see you guys next time. Apogee Live, January 22nd and 23rd. Local, listen to me. Discounts available now. So you might as well go ahead and jump on those today because they end tomorrow. So we'll see you guys soon.